and welcome to Good to Know. In this video, we are going to look at 7 yoga poses that will improve your concentration. So, if you feel like your mind is racing, if you feel a bit scattered mentally, or if you're simply struggling with the ability to stay focused, whether in the moment or more long term, these yoga poses are specifically geared towards cultivating your concentration. In other words, they require your full concentration in order to execute the pose. And so this is a great practice in honing in your mental focus to this single point of here and now. When you're ready, let's check them out. All right, our first pose is tree pose. Now, this posture has several variations, but the beauty of it, whether you put your knee on your ankle, your inner thigh, or even a full half lotus, is you are balancing on one foot, and this requires a lot of concentration. Your hands can be on your hips to help you feel more grounded in the pose, or perhaps you bring your hands to heart center. But wherever you are, the important aspect of this in any balancing posture is your gaze, which in yoga is also referred to as a drishti. This is finding a point of focus to set your gaze on that's unmoving in the space in front of you, whether it's a water bottle, a piece of furniture, something unwavering to help you find that balance. Now, that's a pose that you want to do on both sides. I'll simply be demonstrating what these poses look like as I explain their benefits. Now, the next pose is eagle pose. So you'll start by bringing your arms up overhead. We're going to swing the left arm underneath the right, crossing at the elbows and again at the wrists or opposite shoulders. Bending deep into both knees, you'll lift your left knee high up and over the right, crossing at the knee and again at the ankle or giving yourself a kickstand. Now, once you're in this posture, you feel it for yourself. This is requiring your total focus in order to maintain your balance. And you really want to focus on squeezing all of your joints together down the center line of your body. As you hold this balancing pose for a few breaths, you'll notice the mental power that goes into holding the pose. So again, activate your drishti, find your focal point. And then this is another pose where you'll do the opposite side. The next yoga pose we have for concentration is Warrior 3, another balancing posture. So you can get into this pose a lot of ways. Bringing your hands to your hips, you'll take a step forward, and then your back leg will lift as you begin to hinge at your hips and extend your back leg behind you. Flex or point your toes. Warrior 3, you can take a lot of different arm variations, but wherever you are, wherever you go, this posture is requiring your full mental concentration to stay in the pose. When you're ready to exit, bending into your front knee, back foot plants, and you arrive back to center. Our next yoga pose for concentration is a standing half moon pose with a similar entry point. Another balancing posture that you'll often see practice with a yoga block, and that would go beneath your bottom hand for a little extra support and to help bring the ground up to you. So the way we'll come into this is right hand to hip. Again, hinge forward. This time as you extend your back leg behind you, your opposite hand reaches down. This is where it could go on a block, perhaps all the way to the mat, or perhaps you really want to challenge your balance by lifting your fingertips. Try to square your right hip over your left, stacking them, and then final step is to extend your right arm long. And then the ultimate balance and concentration challenge is to send your gaze up, and change, bending into your front knee to come out of it. And there you have it, balancing half moon pose. The next pose is our last standing pose that we'll explore today. This is dancer pose, one of my personal favorites. This can be a fun pose to practice and also employs all of our concentration to get there. So I'll start facing you, bringing your right arm out to the side. You'll bend your right knee and grab the inner arch of your right foot. I'm just going to turn to face so you can see me from the side now. Opposite arm, your left arm lifts. And then as you exhale with a kick, as you reach and hinge from the hips, you'll begin lowering into your dancer pose. Now, you might wobble, you might feel like you're going to fall, maybe you do fall out of it. That's okay, stick with it. All of this is working together to sharpen your mental focus and concentration. Beautiful work. When you're ready, you'll come right back out of it, and there you have it, dancer pose. You always want to do both sides of these poses, but again, this is simply a demonstration to show you the poses that work best for concentration. Now, the last 2 poses will be down on the mat. The first of which is side plank. Now, this is an incredibly strengthening posture, particularly for your core and your arms. So the way we get into it is we'll find plank first. So finding your plank position from here, we're going to pivot onto the outer blade of your left foot. Your right foot can remain stacked in front of it or on top of it. That's your choice as you bring your right arm up overhead. Try to lift your hips an inch higher and just feel in to the concentration that is required to keep your abdominal muscles activated. Your arm might be shaking. That's good. That means you're challenging yourself. And change. There you have it, side plank. And for our last pose, for concentration, what better pose than an arm balance? So we are going to try crow pose. Now, this is a nice entry-level arm balance. So if you are familiar with crow, then you can go ahead and practice it now. Otherwise, the way you get into this is you pull your armpits over your knees, you plant your palms, and then you're gonna send your gaze directly where the front of your mat meets the floor. And then as you lift onto your toes, you can explore with lifting one or maybe both feet, or maybe just one toe today to get started. Wherever you are though, noticing the immense amount of concentration required for this arm balance. And slowly change. There you have it, our final pose for concentration, crow pose. These have been my 7 favorite yoga poses to increase your concentration, and I hope that you found them good to know.